Iran. You've heard of it. You've seen it flash across headlines. And maybe you've already made up your mind. But what if what you've seen was never the full picture? Ask 10 people what they think of Iran, and you'll get 10 versions of fear, silence, and suspicion. Terror, turbines, tensions. That's what the media sold. But it's not the full story. We didn't come here to confirm the myth. We came to see what's been hidden, not by accident, but by design. Let's start in the places no one films. The forgotten corners of southern Tehran, past the highways. Beyond the billboards, you'll find streets unpaved, homes built with broken bricks and blankets, power lines tied with plastic rope. This isn't fiction, it's survival. Children chase soccer balls through dust and wire. Many don't go to school, not because it's banned, but because it's a luxury. In 2024, over 160,000 kids dropped out, not because of ideology, but because of poverty. A notebook costs too much. A bus ride even more. Sometimes food wins over future. This is the Iran the headlines got right, but only halfway. Because here's what they never show. Resilience. Neighbors share water. Mothers skip meals so their children can eat. Teens help each other learn when schools fail. It's not newsworthy, but it's real, and it's everywhere. Now shift the lens. Drive north. Suddenly, Tehran transforms. There are rooftop cafes, concept stores, sleek metros buzzing underground. A girl in a bright scarf scrolls her phone. A boy with headphones edits code in a co-working space. This is also Iran, just as true, just as invisible. A country living in parallel, between pressure and progress, between control and creation. You won't see this Iran in breaking news, because it doesn't break things. It builds quietly. Despite sanctions, isolation, and fear, life pushes forward. With style, with grit, with contradiction. Iran is not just its government or its past. It's 88 million people writing their own story. Some whisper it, some shout it, most just live it. And once you see that, the story changes forever. Because Iran isn't just what you've been told. It's everything no one told you to look for. This is just the beginning. They say Iran is stuck in the past. A land of sand, silence, and slow time. Camels, veils, and forbidden fun. But take one step inside a city like Tehran, and that illusion collapses. The metro hums beneath your feet. Digital signs blink in Farsi and English. Trains glide in on time. Clean, cold, efficient. Above ground, it's a different chaos. Cars weave through 6-lane roads. Bikes race buses. Traffic lights are more like suggestions. But outdated? Not even close. Tap-to-pay kiosks, online banking, food delivery apps, and Wi-Fi faster than most Western cities. In cafes, young people scroll Instagram, debating music, politics, and what VPN works best this week. Welcome to modern Iran, hidden in plain sight. Sanctions? Still there? Limits? Always. But inside those limits, an entire generation is building something else. Tech startups, art galleries, fashion brands, podcast studios. Ideas are currency here, and they're flowing fast. In Shiraz, students discuss crypto and philosophy. In Isfahan, architects blend old Persia with new lines. In Mashhad, a filmmaker edits a short about censorship. In a city known for shrines. Contradiction? Absolutely. But contradiction isn't chaos. It's how life survives. And this version of Iran? It doesn't scream for attention. It whispers through innovation. You've seen the viral photos. Rich kids of Tehran with Lamborghinis and Louis Vuitton. And yes, that world exists. But it's just one room in a very large house. Because right next door, A coder works late on a laptop with a cracked screen. A teacher runs a free night class in her kitchen. A startup launches from a garage with borrowed Wi-Fi. Iran isn't one thing. It's hundreds, layered, complex, moving. While the world debates whether it's dangerous, Iranians are living. And living big. They build apps that work around bans. They make art that slips past censors. They laugh at limitations. And they adapt. Every single day. This isn't survival. It's quiet resistance. One idea at a time. Iran hasn't paused in time. It's racing forward. Even when the world isn't watching. So if you thought Iran was lost in the past, you are looking in the wrong direction. The present is here, and it's louder than you think. Let's clear up the confusion. Iranians are not Arabs, never were, never claimed to be. Different language, different history, different culture entirely. But the mix-up keeps happening, especially in Western media. So let's break it down. Arabs speak Arabic. Iranians speak Farsi, also known as Persian. It's a language older than French, Spanish, and English. Its roots go deep, back to empires, poets, and philosophers. Arabs trace their culture to the Arabian Peninsula, Iranians to the Persian Plateau. From Persepolis to the Caspian Sea, this land built one of the oldest civilizations in the world. Cyrus the Great, Darius, Xerxes, names carved in stone long before the rise of Rome. And when Islam arrived in the 7th century, Persians didn't disappear. They adapted. They shaped Islam in their own way. They added poetry, art, and thought. Ever heard of Rumi? He was Persian. So was Hafez. So was Ferdowsi, who wrote a book of over 50,000 verses to protect the Persian language after the Arab invasion. Even today, Iranians celebrate Nowruz, the Persian New Year, older than Islam itself, with fire jumping, symbolic tables, and weeks of family visits. Their alphabet looks Arabic, but the words, the grammar, the meaning, completely different. So why the confusion? Because the West sees the Middle East as one big blur. Deserts, mosques, oil, and forgets the details. But in Iran, identity matters. Ask any Iranian, and they'll proudly say, "We're not Arab, we're Persian." Sometimes with a smile, sometimes with fire in their voice. And here's the thing, it's not about superiority, it's about memory. Memory of empires, of culture, of being misrepresented for generations. Even among themselves, Iranians debate fiercely, but they agree on one thing: Persian identity is not negotiable. And while they respect Arab culture, they also protect their own. It's not uncommon to hear someone correct a foreigner kindly, but firmly. We're not Arabs, just like Canadians aren't Americans. So next time you hear someone call Iranians Arabs, stop them. Not out of offense, but out of respect. Because in a world obsessed with borders and labels, Iran has always meant something else. Not quite East, not quite West, always Persian. And that makes all the difference. When you think of Iranian women, what do you see? A black veil? A silent figure? Someone oppressed? That's the Western image, but not the full story. Yes, the hijab is real. Yes, the laws are strict, but Iranian women are not passive. They've never been. Let's rewind history. Before the 1979 revolution, Iranian women wore miniskirts in Tehran. They went to universities, drove cars, ran businesses. And they still do today, only now under different rules. It's not black and white. It's layers of resistance, survival, and strength. Iran has one of the highest female literacy rates in the Middle East. Women outnumber men in universities. They're doctors, engineers, filmmakers, mathematicians, and they don't wait for permission. They write, they sing, even if it's forbidden. They protest, even when it's dangerous. Remember Masa Amini? Her death sparked a movement, led by women, fueled by courage. A cry that echoed across the world. Woman, life, freedom. Iranian women aren't fighting to be like the West. They're fighting to be free in their own way, to wear the hijab or not, to speak without fear, to walk without being watched, to choose. And even in repression, they resist with grace. A strand of hair showing, a silent stare at a police officer, a poem written in secret, a lipstick smuggled into a prison cell. These aren't small acts, they're revolutions in slow motion. Western media often gets it wrong. They show veils, not voices. They show silence, not struggle. But look closer, you'll find power. In a mother teaching her daughter to question. In a student organizing underground classes. In a girl refusing to be invisible. Iranian women don't need saving. They need listening, because they're not shadows, they're flames. So next time you see a woman in a black chatter, don't assume silence. She might be louder than any scream. She might be carrying the weight of a revolution in her eyes. Behind the veil, there is a face. Behind that face, there is a voice. And behind that voice, there is a nation that refuses to be defined by outsiders. Tehran, a name often whispered with tension, associated with nuclear talks, protests, sanctions. But what is this city really? Let's zoom in, away from news headlines, away from politics. What does Tehran look like at sunrise? Vendors opening shutters, children heading to school, smell of fresh bread from street bakeries, motorbikes weaving through morning traffic, the call to prayer echoing above skyscrapers. Yes, skyscrapers, modern malls, cafes, gyms, bookstores. This is not a war zone. It's a living, breathing capital. People fall in love here. They dance sometimes in secret. They laugh, they cry, they survive. There's a rhythm in Tehran, a constant beat under pressure, a heartbeat in defiance. You'll find luxury cars on one street, and a struggling vegetable vendor on the next. Wealth and poverty, side by side. Teenagers scroll TikTok behind VPNs. Artists paint walls in hidden corners. Graffiti speaks where voices can't. You can't jail the soul. One reads. Tehran is contradiction. Modern, ancient, hopeful, tired, religious, rebellious. In the north, you'll find snowy mountains, ski resorts, high-end boutiques. In the south, tight alleys, open markets, earning samovars of tea. People here joke about politics, but quietly. They watch foreign shows, but carefully. They know the rules and how to bend them. A wedding party in Tehran is a secret world. Doors closed, music loud, dancing, freedom, just for a night. And in the quiet suburbs, families gather, stories are told. Photos of martyrs sit beside Wi-Fi routers. Tradition meets technology. Tehran is not silent. It hums with resistance. Not always loud, but always alive. It's not what you've been shown. Not entirely. Because beneath every controlled society, there's always a second city. One that lives behind the curtain. A grandmother praying 5 times a day whispers to her granddaughter, "Dream bigger." A taxi driver who lost faith still plays old revolutionary songs, out of irony, or maybe nostalgia. The real Tehran? It's not black and white. It's gray, layered, messy, human, and maybe that's what makes it beautiful. Iran, a nation burdened by history, and yet propelled by it. Bound by borders, but never by spirit. In every alley of Isfahan, in every whisper of Shiraz's gardens, and in every defiant heartbeat of Tehran, one thing pulses beneath it all. Hope. Not the loud kind, not the dramatic one you see in movies, but quiet, persistent, unyielding. A young woman picks up a banned book. She reads and whispers, and dreams in thunder. A filmmaker edits his story in darkness. He's censored, but not silent. A mother teaches her daughter that bravery sometimes looks like kindness. An old soldier waters a garden. He once fought for a revolution. Now he just wants peace. A cleric prays, but wonders if the divine ever wanted this fear. Even he has questions now. In border towns, smugglers carry jeans and lipstick, not weapons, a rebellion wrapped in fabric. In cafes, philosophy flows between espresso and exile. Will it change? They ask. Hasn't it already? What the world sees is a government. What they don't see is the people who endure it. A generation that inherited scars and still chose to sing. Sanctions can choke an economy, but not curiosity, not defiance, not love. Look at the schoolgirls who paint their nails and memorize poetry, who raise their eyebrows at rules and raise their voices in private. Look at the street artists spraying colors on gray walls, as if to say, we exist, we feel, we resist. Even in prison cells, there are notebooks, drawings, plans. They haven't given up, and neither should we. Iran is not an enemy. It's not a headline. It's not a problem to solve. It's a mosaic, cracked but not broken. A place where past and future collide, where kings once ruled and now poets rise, where silence is taught but stories still scream. Yes, there is pain. Yes, there is repression. But also, there is resilience. What lies ahead for Iran? No one knows. But here's what we do know. Empires crumble. Dictators fall. But people endure. And when truth is buried, it grows roots. It waits. It rises again. So when you hear Iran next time, pause. Look deeper. Think of the girl with the banned book, the boy with the silent film, the father who prays but questions, the nation behind the news. Because Iran is not what you've been told. It's more. And its story isn't over yet.